Where I'm standing right now is in the center of what they call a cathedral of redwoods. And these are so magnificent, so beautiful. How all these trees form together like this in this cathedral-like fashion. And what absolutely mesmerized me is when I found out how these things grow. So where I'm standing there in the center, how these grow, these cathedrals like this. Now this one's pretty amazing. See how it just like formed a wall? And there's, real quick before I get into the details of what I'm going to share, but see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trees here in this cathedral, and the one on the end there on the right has a couple trees shooting out the top of it, but single stem. And looks like there might be one more on the backside, but still there's six or so trees here in this cathedral. And what is so amazing about these, and when I found out how they happen, is when one redwood dies and gives its life, these cathedral trees rise around it, around the center of where that tree fell. That's how they are formed. When one high is brought low, all of these mighty trees start to grow around like this. That's how they're formed like that. And when I found that out, I was just in awe and in shock of that glory, of how the significance of that, the prophetic truth of that. And for me, two big things. The first is when Jesus gave his life and what he modeled for us, how we are to live and give our lives. But when Jesus gave his life, it was like, he described, it's slightly different in his description, but its meaning is so similar. And he said, unless a seed falls to the ground and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it bears much fruit. And that is actually so similar to what happens with these. So when Jesus gave his life, because Jesus was the highest of the high, and he went low, and he planted his seed on the earth and died, and gave his life. And so, like I said, it's not an exact, but it's very similar truth. When Jesus gave his life, that's what happened. It's all these little Christs, little Christs, and people in his image rose up because of what he did, and that's what happened here. And second, for high and low specifically, the significance of finding this out was so awesome, because these high trees, the highest of the highs in the world, that grow in the lowest of the low valley, when one of the highest in the world, when one high is humbled and brought low and gives their life to the truth, and so when one celebrity, when one high person of influence that affects culture, when one high is brought low, which is the high and low vision, when one high is brought low, the effect that takes place when one person in that place of influence is brought low and humbled, that this is what the result is. The effect on culture and the effect on people and all the fans, that's another huge part of why high and low and why we want to reach celebrities, is because of their influence. And if we can bring one high low, this is the results that's going to happen in the future of reaching someone in that high place. And so I love these cathedrals. This is one of my favorite ones. My one that was my absolute favorite on the other side of the grove here at Tall Trees Grove actually just fell a few weeks ago. And those trees are massive. They've been growing for hundreds of years, at least 500 years. All those trees were over 300 feet tall, all of them. And it was a patch of similar to this, about six of them, and only 2 of them are standing. The ones that were bunched up the most actually fell, which was, when I saw it, I couldn't even believe that I saw that. Those trees that had been standing for half a millennium at least. And so it was kind of sad to see, but I also was just thankful that that I got to see them while they were here, and how they spoke to my life and how meaningful it was. And knowing that they fell, the result in the future now, because of their falling, is going to grow more redwoods around them, and form more cathedrals, most likely. Not that always is what happens, but it's when one mighty tree falls, it opens up the ability and the seeds and everything that falls from that tree and grows around. It's beautiful. And so, yeah, this is the Cathedrals, Redwood parable. When one high is brought low, a whole cathedral of mighty trees and high trees are brought up. Not just one more, many grow as a result of one giving his life. And it's the same thing Jesus did, and it's what he wants to do with our lives. If we give our lives like that, and we humble ourselves and lay our lives down the same way he did in love, this is going to be the results of the seed that our life will be if we choose to die to ourselves and give our lives for the gospel. This is going to be the results of the seed dying, or of the tree falling. The seed dying is so that we can grow. This is just me kind of speaking prophetically while I'm thinking about it. The seed dying is us giving our lives so we can grow and truly live, so that when we die and give our lives and leave this world, the effect that happens when we leave, the legacy, all because of one seed that died and one tree that gave its life. So just beautiful.